Hello there, Captains, and welcome to another episode of Game Fact Files. Today we'll talk about the first anniversary tournament that will take place between 8th and 29th of December. The event will either run as constructed or sealed format, and today we will analyze the best cards to include in your sealed deck. Before jumping into the main video, I want to say a big thanks for joining our crew. We hit the milestone of 1,000 subscribers. As a token of gratitude, I'll give a devil fruit to one of you in a special giveaway. If you want to participate, all you have to do is to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, click the like button, and add a comment below with your favorite OP05 leader. And now let's see the sealed cards and rules. Summing up the rules, all players are getting 6 packs of the set being released. All players open the packs and build a 40-card deck. Unlike constructed play, you ignore the color restriction based on your leader. There are no banned or restricted cards, and you can include as many copies with the same card number as you like. Any cards left over from deck construction are treated as sideboard cards. You can bring your own leader from home, or use one of the leaders you get from the packs you open. Besides the color, all other card text restrictions still apply as normal. For example, while Karasu can lower your opponent's leader when attacking, his on-play ability only works if you are playing Bellow. There are 6 leaders in the new set in case you don't want to use the usual suspects. The first one is Sakazuki, that is very powerful in constructed format. His cycling ability is great, and his minus cost ability will work only if you find cards like Bastille, Hacha, Borsellino, or Houndblaze. However, his 4 life is a bit risky for his -1 when attacking, and I'm putting him aside. The next one is Bello Betty. Her ability giving plus 3,000 to 3 of your Revolutionary Army is very powerful in limited formats. If you get lucky and get like half of your deck with Revolutionary Army cards or trigger characters, you should go for her. The next one is Rocinante. When your hand is lower than 6, you can have him as a blocker at the end of turn. His ability is not that good. Even if you have a nice character in play that you want to protect, you will face a lot of players playing Kid with double swing. The next one is Sabo. His ability works like the previous one, trying to keep the tempo by saving your characters. While he seems tempting, I would always prefer the double attack versus him. The next one is the Purple Luffy. Spending life for Dawn can be game-changing if you play bombs earlier than your opponent. If your pool has a big Dawn curve and you don't have a lot of early turn characters, you can play with Luffy and go for the race. The last one of the set is Enel. He is considered a 5-life leader since he heals when your life reaches 0, by discarding a card from your hand. While he is super powerful with any cards that heals you, so his ability will trigger again. In this set, the only card that can give you life is the trigger of the 200 million volt Raijin. These 2 are the best options for your sealed. Katakuri hits for 7,000 using only 1 Dawn, and you can always manipulate opponents' triggers. Kid is the MVP in this format, being able to double swing for 12,000 at the late game. In this set, there is an event called Punk Rotten, being able to give Kid plus 5,000 using only 2 Dawn. Nothing can survive these swings. All cards that give 2,000 counter are considered S-grade in limited formats. You will include in your deck all copies of them. Most of them are uncommon or higher in rarity, so the easier one to get is Toto, since he is the only common one. OP05 has 16 different blockers. You will include all copies of them in your deck. Remember that playing a blocker when your opponent doesn't expect him can seal the deal for your win. Most of them are chump blockers, but we have some with big stats like Jinbe, Eustace Kid, or X-Drake. All 16 of them also have counter on them, so they will never be out of use. Besides counter and blockers, I'll divide the cards in 3 categories, starting with the cards you must include in your deck. Starting with Inazuma, he is a rush character with a condition of having another character with 7,000 power. While he isn't a card that can be played on your second turn, every rush gives you tempo, and he can work as a finisher as well. He also has counter, so he is included in our deck. In case someone is a new player and isn't aware of this, The other character doesn't need to be 7,000 base power. It works even if you have a character of 5,000 with 2 Dawn attached on him. The next one is Karasu. While his on-play ability only works with Bello Betty as a leader, when he attacks he gives minus 1,000 to an enemy character or leader. If you make the opponent's leader 4,000, he needs to spend 1 extra card in almost all of your attacks on that turn. Chaka is the next card included in our deck. Using 1 Dawn, you can give 2 rested Dawn to one of your characters or leader. Even on the turn he is played with 1 Dawn, you gain an extra 1,000 for one of your attacks. Sabo gets a spot in deck too. 7,000 body and you can kill up to 2 chump blockers. Morley is included in our deck as well. He is unblockable when he has 7,000 power, and he also has counter and the vanilla stats. Fire Fist gives minus 4,000 power to a character. Even if you don't use it on a chump blocker, you can easily trade one of your opponent's attackers on your turn. Doflamingo is a super bomb on this set. First of all, there aren't a lot of things to remove this guy from the board, and he rests a 6 cost or less on your opponent's turn. This guy is a beast. Pika is auto-included in the deck too. His stats are insanely strong for his ability, and that's why he is also a super rare in rarity. Every card that can deal damage at your opponent, and is also able to be active at the end of your turn, is a must. He is not only being active after attacking, you can also save him from a removal by resting another character. Whoever wins this war becomes justice. This is the moment when your opponent attacks for plus 2,000 to kill a character on your board, and you're gaining so much tempo with this, that can judge the outcome of the game. Beaten Meteora is included in our deck too, with 2 Dawn gaining 4,000 counter. If you are lucky, you can kill a 3-5,000 vanilla as well. Ulti is a must only if you choose to play with a multicolor leader. She replaces herself with a card draw by the time she gets in play, and you can also sort the draws of the next 2 turns. Borsellino gets in our deck as well. 8,000 body, placing a character with 4 cost or less at the bottom of your opponent's deck. The next card is Hound Blaze. Even if you don't have a target of 2 or less, you are still gaining a Dawn advantage by getting plus 3,000 with 2 Dawn, and can be used effectively on trading or a lethal. Bonakishi goes in the deck as well. His stats are like a 4-6,000 vanilla, and he gives minus 2,000 up to 2 of your opponent's characters. Still a great play even if you drop him on your 4 Dawn. The next one is Gamma Knife. Minus 5,000 using only 2 Dawn. You can trade any big targets, and the trigger is also good if it gets drawn early in the game. Dragonclaw is one of the must cards as well, gaining 4,000 and also killing a 4 cost if your trash pile has 15 or more cards. Enel is a 7,000 rush, and your opponent can't get rid of him easily. You can spend a life and prevent him from getting removed. Ohm is a must card, only if you have found a Holly. Playing 2 characters with 4 Dawn gives you a huge amount of tempo. If you only find Ohm, he is out, but you can still play Holly in your deck without the first one. Gidatsu goes in our deck as well. While he can't deal with big threats, you can easily remove a small vanilla or a blocker. Especially in sealed formats that people tend to be strict on losing lives early, you can manage and kill a 4 cost if played on curve. I mentioned Punk Rotten before, but if you manage and get a 1 or 2 of these, playing with Kid will be the best option. You can double swing for 15,000, making the attacks impossible to be blocked. El Thor is our next card, getting 4,000 with 1 Dawn when your opponent has 2 or less life. You can also kill a low-cost blocker if it's triggered. 200 millions Volt Ragin. If triggered, this is the only card that can give you life in this set. Besides that, you can rest a 4 cost when your life is 1 or less, and also give plus 3,000 to your leader or a character. Kaido is another bomb, giving you a huge card advantage when played. You draw 4 cards, and he is a 12,000 body. Luffy is the best finisher in the game. In formats like Sealed, if the game is at a state where he or Kaido are in play, they can hardly be removed from the game. Gaining an extra turn means that you are also gaining 1 extra card draw, and an extra attack of 7,000 with your leader. Starting with playable cards that you will include in your deck, the first one is Pell. With 1 Dawn while attacking, you give minus 2,000 to an opponent's character. We continue with Lindbergh. With 2 Dawn, you can kill a low power blocker. The next one is Emporio Tension Hormone. This one is playable only if you have at least a couple of Revolutionary Army characters in deck, so you can save the attack and gain advantage on the board. If you don't have any target in deck, you will need to skip this one. Trafalgar Law is the next card. With only 1 Dawn, you can rest a chump blocker, so we will include him in the deck as well. Charleston is the next one. While it is not a tier S card, in case you are lacking of events, you can use it for the plus 4000 for 2 Dawn. Steel is one of the cards we are using as well. You can get rid of a low-cost blocker when attacking with 1 Dawn. While most cards have gained abilities and we don't have a lot of vanillas in the set, you will also need to add any copies of raw stats from 3 Dawn cost and higher. Nora, Sangoro, and any copies of John Giant will be included in our deck. If you don't have a lot of these, you can use lower stat characters like Bellamy or Hack. While the last two are great when played on curve when you start first, they are easier targets than Nora or Sangoro, since they are getting free attacks from your opponent's leader without doing any Dawn investment. Hacha is our next card in the deck, 7000 body and returning a 3 cost or less character to its owner's hand. Orobi can kill a 3 cost or less character when you have 8 or more Dawn. We are including her in the deck as well. We can include Elizabello II in the deck since he doesn't have a lot of 4 cost with 6000 power to compete. You can use him for counter, and if he manages to be in game when your trash pile is full, you get plus 10,000 on attacking. Mansherry is playable only if you have cards like Rebecca or Rob Lucci to return from your trash pile. Rob Lucci will probably won't find any targets if played early, but he is a 6000 body with 4 Dawn, and he can also kill a bunch of chump blockers at the endgame, so we will include him in the deck as well. If you have added those cards, and you are still need to fill some slots in your deck, try to use cards that are going to have more impact in game than others. Cards like Hina that draws you a card, and with a little of investment of 1 Dawn can deal damage to your opponent, can fill a spot. Another one of those cards is Zorajuro that can give you an extra Dawn when attacking. He will probably not be alive more than 1 round, but even if he gets you 1 more extra Dawn, can change the flow of the game. Another card worth mentioning is Isho. You are getting a tempo advantage while putting a 6000 body on the board. His cost is a bit higher compared to his power, and that's why he is in this category. Cards like Law or Beepo can fill your gaps if you don't have vanillas with counter. Beepo's ability could work if you are facing a Zorojuro as well. The last card I want to mention is Patchwork. If you have Rob Lucci or cards like Steel or Hacha, you should include it in your deck as well. You will get great advantage by returning a 6 cost on your opponent's hand. It can greatly work with Borsellino as well, allowing you to get rid cards like Enel. Another general rule I'm applying whenever I'm attending to formats like this is that whenever you are in a dilemma on which card you should put in your deck, always put the cheapest one. It's better to have a card on hand that you'll be able to play it whenever you want than having a card that will get bricked on your hand. That was all for today, Captains. I hope you enjoyed the content, and let me know if any of you got the golden stamp in the first anniversary tour. See you next week.